Hey guys, welcome back to another video here on the channel, another miniature game. For the next few videos, I think I have 6 programmed. We'll be focusing on the World Senior Team Championship played recently in Prague. A lot of international masters and grandmasters who are aged over 50 playing this fantastic team event in Prague. If you enjoy the content on this channel and these videos, please subscribe to the channel and give us a thumbs up, and that will allow us to reach our goals, which for the moment are 1,000 subscribers, which will allow me to unlock some of the live options, and we can get some live streams in with you guys to enjoy and have some fun. My first game of the World Senior Teams features with the white pieces Grandmaster Glenn Flear, currently rated 2384, but Glenn has been for many years, most of his career, above 2500. With the black pieces, another Grandmaster, Glenn is from England, the black player is from Italy, GM Ortega, 2348, also Grandmaster. So just to become a Grandmaster, you have to achieve 2500 rating. So most of these players have achieved that rating and had their careers above 2500. However, now they are senior players, and many of them, including myself, we actually prefer to play senior players with other players of our own generations, and not so competitive environment, maybe slightly less preparation, not so many kids running around and throwing us their preparations, which they have learned with their Grandmaster trainers the night before, which is always a challenge for us. So the World Senior, the European Senior, the different tournaments around the countries of senior events are very interesting for players who no longer want to play on the open active circuit. In this game, we're going to see the dangers of leaving your king too long in the center and delaying castling. Let's go with the game. So, as we shall see, Glenn opens with d4. And Ortega goes for the d5, c4, c6 standard Slav defense. Very solid, very safe, very correct, quite popular. C takes d5, the exchange variation. I think this is slightly underrated. I think it should be played more often, and although it's not very aggressive, it does have a lot of tricks, and also it's very easy to play with white. So if you're looking for a line against the Slav or the semi-Slav, and you don't want to study much theory, just follow this game and you'll be okay. Bishop to f4 and e3. Now you'll notice that white is delaying the development of his knight on g1, and this is very specific. He's trying to prevent black from pinning the knight, and also in some scenarios, a few scenarios, for example, if black would play here e6, white could consider a waiting move with rook to c1, with the idea of, against bishop to d6, exchange off the bishops and go for f4 and knight f3 and knight e5. This is a sort of stonewall attack. Quite interesting, actually. So delaying the development of the knight on g1 does have some advantages. Ortega preferred to play bishop to g4 here, hitting the queen. I've actually had this position on the board, and I've played both queen to b3, f3, and the game move knight g to e2. All three are possible. e6. White plays f3, pushes the bishop back, and castles, and black goes bishop to d6. Now, up to now, both players, I would say, are playing decent chess, principled chess, and the position is roughly equal. If white exchanges the bishops on g6, black will capture with the h-pawn and open up the h-file. It's not a big deal. We won't be mated on the h-file line, but this is comfortable for black. It shouldn't be a big problem. So white plays rook to c1, allowing black to exchange on d3, which he could have done perfectly well, and follow up with bishop to d6. And this position, I would say, is very slightly better for white, very slightly. I can go knight to a4, and after the exchange of bishops, the knight will land on c5. This is not much, but you can work with this sort of small positional idea. Also, white does have the opportunity at some point to advance in the center. That hasn't been timed well, but it could be worth looking at some point. Anyway, black played bishop to d6 straight away, which is okay. White played knight to a4. And here we get our first important decision. Now, I'm not a fan of what Lexi did here with black. I think he should have castled. And after bishop takes d6, queen takes d6, maybe knight to f4, threatening to exchange with the knight and keep our strong bishop. I think Ortega would have exchanged on d3. And I have to say this position is very slightly better for white because of the access to the c5 and b6 squares. But again, it's not much. And I think that black with precise play should be able to hold the equality here. Maybe Ortega didn't want to defend this position. Maybe he's an active player. He wants to play actively. In any case, he played e5. And I don't like this decision. Because after pawn takes pawn, although white does have a slightly weak e3 pawn, I think it's easier to attack the d5 weak pawn. Even so, this should be only slightly better for white. Black shouldn't be in big trouble here. Lexi changed on g6. Now, of course, knight takes g6 would have been an option, but after bishop takes and knight c5, white already has a small advantage. And there's even a trick. If b6, knight to e4, with the idea of picking up the d5 pawn because of the pin on d6. So, Ortega obviously spotted that and played h takes g6, which is okay. And now queen to d4. And now we're hitting the knight. And here comes the second mistake. Possibly even the decisive mistake. Black could have and should have played knight to c6, preventing the threat of the capture. As he's attacking the queen, I'm sure that Glenn would have played queen to b6, and now we swap off the bishop on f4, and here we have to defend this position. White is slightly better. Yes. Is it going to be easy to defend this position? No. But there's no clear path to a win. And even if, in the best case scenario, white was able to pick up the d5 pawn, black would still be fighting in the endgame. Instead of that, Ortega miscalculated and he played queen to e7. Now the reason behind his miscalculation is hard to know. He probably missed a move. I have a suspicion on the move that he might have missed, but this is just my hypothesis. I just don't know. The thing is, he defends the knight, but he loses control of the b6 square. And Flear plays knight to b6, hitting the rook. And my hypothesis is that Ortega missed the move knight to c8, which is a very, very strong move, creating a double attack, which is practically 1-0 for white. What I do think he'd seen is that the d5 pawn can't be captured because after knight takes, queen takes, he has this very nasty knight to d3 move, which I think Ortega spotted, and that's why he went with this line. Of course, the rook is hit, the bishop is hit, and if queen takes knight, then bishop takes bishop, with a threat on the queen and also a threat on these 2 pawns. Now probably Ortega spotted this line and that's why he went for the variation. But the thing is, Flear had spotted an even stronger move, which is knight to c8. And black had to resign. Because of course if he moves the queen, he loses a piece, check, and the knight drops. And if he moves the knight back to hit the queen, then white plays rook takes c6, and the threats are still the same. Pawn takes, loses the queen, and it's game over. So here we've clearly seen that because Ortega left the king too long in the center, having had the possibility or the option to castle before, he fell for a tactical shot which was there and could have happened to anyone. So bad luck for Lexi in this game. A good game by Glenn Flear, a very clean win. And as I said before, if you're lacking a line against the Slav and the semi-Slav, the exchange variation, especially if you enjoy a slow game with not too much tactics, is the line for you guys. Swap on d4, play bishop to f4 and e3 before bringing out the knights, and you might get a nice comfortable position. And if you like to play positional chess, this is the line for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. Leave me a comment below if you want. Thumbs up. Enjoy the game, improve, learn, have fun, and we'll see you in the next video.